Welcome back to the final segment of Implicit Bias. You don't need my name. Just know that this is Implicit Bias, and you're listening to it on probably a radio station, hopefully a great one, and that you should call them and tell them that you love the show and that you want it to continue. We're not going anywhere, but we want them to know that you love listening to us.
And like Kavan always says, if you don't hear the second hour, call them.
Yeah, if you're listening to us on podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, call your local stations. I don't care if they play us or not. Call them and say, I want that.
Yeah, why you don't carry that?
Get us on the air there. We matter. You matter. The collective matters. Let's do something for America. Let's do something for ourselves. Don't wait for someone else to change it. You be the change. Speaking of you be the change, General, it's not Miley like Cyrus, right? It's Millie like vanilla, right?
Yes.
Lip sync. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I got it. It's stuck there in the brain. Do y'all realize why he's in the hot water he's in? Does anyone know what he said whenever Trump was in office the first time?
No, I don't. He said a bunch of stupid things, but I don't remember what he said.
The thing I remember about Milley is when we did the pullout from Afghanistan, and Trump went to him and said, "Why did we leave all of this, all the guns? I mean, so much armament there, multi-million dollars in equipment." He said it would be too expensive for us to transport it.
Yeah.
Now, I know there's something that Trump's saying that it was treasonous, what he did. So what he did...
That's different.
The only thing that stuck in my mind was the fact that when Biden pulled out of Afghanistan very quickly, that all of that equipment was left behind.
Yeah, but
for them
It's actually closer to home.
The thing
Josh,
is...
do you know?
Well, there was a couple things. One, wasn't he... So after the 2020 election, wasn't he talking to his Chinese counterpart without Trump's authorization, essentially saying there's not going to be war?
There was that.
And then also it didn't...
Think really close to home.
Well, didn't he and the Secretary of State Pompeo and the Secretary of Defense authorize some kind of strike without Trump's?
I believe...
Because there was something where Trump made them go to a press conference without him. And I want to say like they authorized something together without his...
I think so. I don't want to say yes, but I think so. The other part is George Floyd. So George Floyd, Trump wanted to send the military here. He wanted to talk to the states and activate the National Guard and all this other stuff. And General Milley said that we took an oath to the Constitution and to the office, not to the individual. And that is insubordination. That is 100% insubordination. And in the military service, that is a huge, huge crime. Big thing. And look, you can disagree. You can, and there's ways and times to do that behind closed doors. But at the end of the day, the commander-in-chief is the commander-in-chief. And whether you agree or not, there are certain things that you are bound by duty and honor of service to do.
I mean, the only thing that you don't have to do, unlawful order.
Unlawful orders.
Right. But
So
when
it
the
was in
commander-in-chief says something, if it's unlawful, you don't have to, but otherwise, you do.
Well, look at
Do
the COVID stuff, right? Whenever people weren't getting the vaccine, it was not unlawful to not get the vaccine. But
Right.
yet people got discharged and lost
Right.
their retirement.
No,
and everything
no,
else, and
not
no one spoke up.
discharge, fired.
Yeah, and-
you're fired.
And they lost time in grade, lost time in
Right.
service, lost retirement.
But what happened?
wasn't illegal.
But what happened? What did Donald Trump sign?
Well, that's a different chain of command. So new chain of command came in and he wanted to do restitution for those individuals. What was your question, Grant?
No, that was in Minnesota with the George Floyd.
Yeah.
Close to
yeah.
home.
So Tampon Tim's backyard.
Yeah.
So that was Milley.
Baton Rouge.
Yeah, so that whole area was just a disaster waiting to happen, huh?
Yeah.
So Trump told him to go in, and Milley said no, thank you. And
Well, he said we
he
wanted-
probably had Tampon Tim's backing.
He said, we want to activate the National Guard. We're going to talk to the states on the state level. We'll talk to their local generals, and we'll make this happen. And he was like, no, this is not what we're going to do. This is not how we're going to use the military, and we won't move forward. Now, so they went back, and they're stripping, and I might be wrong on this, but they're stripping General Milley of his rank and reducing him in retirement and everything else. And
Clearances.
yep, all his clearances. So he probably, he probably had a few different ones, but
Trump went and wiped a lot of clearances out. But the thing is, I mean, can they strip him of generals?
You can. So what you can demotion by rank and everything else happens very, very often. I mean, I know plenty of E7s who are touted as E3s. I know plenty of, as an officer, you're not going to get bumped down to enlisted, but they can knock you down to a captain and so forth. It happens multiple times, especially for conduct unbecoming and unfitting of an officer of your grade and nature. And this is one of those things like, look, insubordination is a big thing in the military. And there are ways to say you don't agree. There are times to say you don't agree. And just like the bishop, he did not choose the right time or right place. And we have to be reminded, when I say we have to be humble, right? Christ calls us to be humble and to maintain and know our place, because the Bible tells us, don't we know that one day we will judge the angels? So if we're to judge angels, we're to do these things. Doesn't mean that's our position now, but one day we will. So when you look at a private, an O1, O2, a general, you have to understand at the end of the day, the commander-in-chief is the commander-in-chief. And if you disagree, you don't do it in public and you don't speak out. Look at Mad Dog Mattis, right? I'm an Army vet. He was Marine Corps, great thing from the Marine Corps. When you read his book and you go back and listen to how he talks about the president at the time, President Trump, he says nothing disrespectful. Why? That is what a general does.
Yeah.
That is the status and the respect that is given to the rank and the position. So I'm very, very happy to see that old General Milli Vanilli is being held accountable, right?
Well, I mean, he did some stupid things with the pull out of Baghdad. I mean, you don't give up the base before you take our people out.
Yeah, horrible planning.
Yeah, it was just a horrible plan.
And it goes to show that, like, look, piss poor planning it affects everything that you do. Just like we didn't plan enough time. We need a third hour. My liver can't handle a third hour walker. But at the end of the day, we hope you enjoyed your time with us. We hope you really enjoyed the show. And please, please come back for more. Like and follow. Till next week.